Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to diets that are not so good for you. Any diet that is very low calorie, anything below 800, it's first of all not safe, it's not healthy, and it's very much not sustainable. The lowest calories we talked about was between 900 to 1000, and that's medically supervised with support and meal replacements. So a very low calorie diet, which is 800 calories or less, is not recommended for anybody in general. But one of the main things is the side effects of low calorie diets are gallstone formations and electrolyte imbalance. There's dehydration, constipation, and lots of nutrition deficiencies, which is why a very low calorie diet is not recommended. Ketogenic diet is also a very common diet. It is designed as a very low carbohydrate diet. Now, just as a side note, most people who follow a ketogenic diet aren't truly following the real ketogenic diet. Most diets require 20 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day, which is less than 10% of carbohydrates. A lot of people aren't meeting that goal, and it's also important to have high fats and moderate protein. It's very important to not consume protein on this diet, not too much protein, because then the ketosis doesn't happen. So in many cases, ketogenic diet is not recommended in general because of the potential nutrition deficiencies that can happen with following a ketogenic diet for a long term. Especially deficiencies in calcium, vitamin D, selenium, magnesium, zinc, and phosphorus. So there was actually research looking at ketogenic diet, and they compared it with a low-fat diet, and they did not see any significant difference between a low-fat diet and a ketogenic diet after 1 year. So the weight loss was pretty much on the same level. And ketogenic diet, although did help improve HDL levels and triglycerides, but it wasn't successful in reducing LDL levels, which is the bad cholesterol. And so there isn't enough evidence at this point to support that it's good for weight loss. And if you do want to follow a ketogenic diet, you want to be aware and just make sure that you're aware of the potential risks and versus benefits. If you do like the ketogenic diet, definitely go ahead with it. But just remember that it's not sustainable. There's going to be a point when you have to start eating a regular diet. And we also don't want to see more cholesterol issues after you're off of the diet. So just be more careful about that if you decide to do this. Now, other diets, juice cleanses or juice diets, they have been highly promoted, but the problem with them is that they are mostly liquid calories. And whenever there's liquid calories, then you don't usually feel full. So we don't really know how much we should have, because you just drink up your calories and you don't realize this is, I'm eating more than I'm supposed to. Because you don't feel the feeling of fullness and because of the lack of fiber. So if you ever hear of juice diets, they're first of all not sustainable because you can't do it forever, right? So I know a lot of people swear by them, but unfortunately they're not long lasting. If we compare a glass of orange juice with 3 small oranges, if you see almost the same calories, maybe a little bit more in the juice, 32 grams of carbohydrates in 3 fruits, and then there's 32 grams, pretty much the same carbs, but this has 7 grams of fiber and this has 0 grams of fiber. So there's less fiber, so you don't feel full. You don't get the benefits of the fiber that we talked about from last week. So it's very important not to fall into this trend of juice dieting or cleanse dieting. The last diet I'll talk about is the paleo diet. This is actually a diet where it's basically called the caveman diet. I think it's getting really popular nowadays, but it's based on a flawed interpretation of anthropology. So it's not really based on nutrition science. I think it's the thought that back when we were cavemen, we didn't have enough farming that we could actually grow grains and legumes and eat dairy products or processed foods. So a lot of people who follow the Paleolithic diet, they usually follow a raw food sort of diet. But the problem with it is that it eliminates two major food groups, which is grains and dairy products. And that means that a lot of people who follow this diet have less or deficiencies in calcium, iron, and some vitamins. So again, this was compared to see if there is weight loss with it. And the paleo diet, when compared with the Mediterranean or the low-fat diet, did not show any significant difference in weight loss after 2 years. So there was no real weight loss with the diet. And like with any diets you've noticed, in the long term, these are not successful. So again, there's not enough evidence to share that this is helpful. Okay, so to end everything and to bring everything back in perspective, whenever there's always going to be a diet out there, there's always going to be a trend people swear by, but it's very important that you become aware of what to look for, what the red flags are, and to gauge by yourself if this is authentic, if this is right or wrong. So one of the things and red flags you have to look for when it comes to, thinking about starting a diet is, are they promising fast results? Because if it's very fast, then it's usually short term. A healthy weight loss is about a half to 1 kg loss of weight per week. So that's about 1 to 2 pounds a week. Any more, if they're promising 5 pounds, 20 pounds weight loss in the next month, then you want to be a little bit of, you need to be a little skeptical, and you need to figure out what the diet is about. Also, make sure they don't exclude major food groups. Like think about the cabbage soup diet. It's just one food group. Or diets where they eliminate large groups of foods like dairy and sometimes meat. Sometimes there are actually some diets now, I think they recommend no fruits even. So there's a lot of these diets, and it's just better to stay away from these ones because first of all, they're not healthy and not sustainable. Other things to look for is if any diet asks you to do special meal preparations or find specific foods or buy specific types of equipment, then you want to think about it again just to make sure what their agenda is. If they don't promote flexibility, in meal planning, then again, that's not a diet for you. You should be able to choose foods that you like in any healthy diet. And anything that promotes cleanses or detox is something you want to try to run away from because a lot of the times they have laxatives or diuretics added to them. And our body knows how to detox itself. So don't get into that when you see people and even celebrities endorsing certain detox teas or juices and cleanses. First of all, it's not sustainable and it may not be healthy. So the conclusion is, don't let the diet culture steal your joy. Enjoy a well-rounded diet, enjoy variety, enjoy whole foods, and make sensible choices that make sense to you and your family. And anything that you do is, as long as you can keep it in your life for the rest of your life, I think would be the better choice of diet instead of going on this short-term fast weight loss diets and then fall into that yo-yo trap again.
Can I add two more points here for the fat diet? One of the most important thing that I always tell my patient that any diet or any program, if you want to judge if it's a good weight loss program, either it's commercial or any diet, they should talk about weight maintenance. So if they're not offering weight maintenance, any tips, ideas, if there's no package for weight maintenance, this is not something that you really would like to go for. So weight maintenance, again, any diet, any program should be talking about weight maintenance. The other thing that I want you to tell you in general, in medical, when we went to med school and even now medical school, there's no concept of detox or cleansing. Like we have never read anything in our med school about human body. We want to detoxify ourselves from food groups. I mean, yes, there's a detox available for alcohol. There's detox available when you're addicted to benzos or benzodiazepines, addiction, opioids. That's detox is different. But cleansing yourself with certain foods, honesty, and there are other colleagues of mine who are sitting with me, physicians, ask them. There's no concept. This is all money making marketing items, juices, teas, foods to detox your body. As long as a person have a healthy liver, a healthy kidney, we detoxify every single minute, every single hour. So we do not have to be using certain laxative. What are we detoxifying against? So if we eat medication, if we eat certain thing, if our liver is good, it detoxifies instantaneously. Our kidney pees out that's the toxic drug, our breath takes it out. So you do not have to pay money for detoxification. Yes, you need to use healthy items, whole grain and everything, to make sure you're pooping okay, as well as water, hydration. If you really want to detox, fasting for a few minutes, intermittent fasting and all of this, they have their certain benefits, and I think Shasta has went over it. But buying a detoxifying kit, it is not research or medically approved. That this is the